Hi everybody. I thought I would weigh in a little bit on this Jaclyn Glenn incident which has occurred recently. Three of my favourite YouTubers, Conference Report, Dottie and Stretton and Katie Blackadder, have all kind of weighed in on it, and I think they've between them summed up a lot of the feelings I have as well on the situation. Basically what's happened is a moderate Christian has responded to it, attempted to engage a bit of discussion with her regarding generalisation of Christians, implying that they all fit into this fundamentalist bracket, when obviously in actual fact they don't. A lot of them don't fit into that bracket. And the controversy is that she, rather than sort of engage him in discussion, she's just sort of mocked him. She's just used this as an excuse for a bit of entertainment, to sort of an excuse for a bit of ponage, presumably to entertain her subscriber base. Now I do take certain issue with this. Basically, I think that, as I say, the three YouTubers I mentioned sum this up pretty well between them. He's trying to get some discussion going, and instead of, greeting that with a bit of discussion, all that's happened is she's gone, oh, let's just use this for a bit of entertainment. Let's just use this for mockery. And to me, I'm a big fan of discussion. I think discussion is important, and the reason I try to be polite with the moderately religious is because, and I like to get into discussion with them, is because they're the people who might actually listen to what's being said to them. In a way, a large number of fundamentalists won't. They won't listen because they have a rule which says they can't listen, and they are not allowed to listen. They already know, in inverted commas, that you're wrong, and absolutely cannot listen to anything which is going to change their mind. When you've already decided you know you're right, nobody's going to change your mind, or they're very unlikely to. I think engaging in arguments or debates or whatever with fundamentalists, creationists, whatever, is more for the benefit of the third party. It's for the person watching that who may not be sure who's right or who's wrong. It's more for their benefit to show them, whose argument makes the most sense. But with the moderately religious, I like to try and be polite with them, for the reason I've said, because they might listen, not necessarily so that they might become atheists, which in itself isn't actually as big an achievement as we'd all like it to be. It doesn't actually mean a great deal. But they might listen, they are potentially allies in the sort of fight for secularism, fight for humanism. A lot of them do seem to support secular ideas. A lot of them are opposed to homophobia. They are opposed to things like, I suppose, the established church. I mean, this is more of a UK issue, I suppose, like the established church. In America we already have separation of church and state, as far as I understand it. But what's perhaps a bit odd is Jaclyn used to be a Christian YouTuber, and this is exactly the sort of Christian she was. She was exactly like this guy. She was the sort of Christian who was always quick to say, I don't hate gay people, I don't hate atheist people, whatever, I'm not that kind of Christian. So I do wonder if it's perhaps a bit of projection on her part. We're seeing here, it's almost like she sees something she didn't like about what she used to believe in this guy, and it's almost like she's screaming at herself, just to say that this is ridiculous. It's almost like, they see something they don't like about themselves in the other person, albeit sort of retrospectively, because it's not what she believes anymore. But I think the big problem here is this idea of just jumping at the opportunity for entertainment, to engage in ponage. And I was discussing this a little bit in the comment section of Conference Report video here, and how I was saying, I kind of have mixed feelings about ponage. Sometimes I think it can be funny, and at times even necessary. Sometimes I think it really needs to be done. Certainly a lot of these fundamentalists like Venom Fang X or people like that, need to be taken down. There really is nothing else for it. What they're coming out with is absolute garbage on every level. So pwnage is not. I don't know how you could not pwn someone. The only way to not pwn someone like that would be just not to respond to them at all. Because what they come out with is so ridiculous. It just, the only way to respond to it is to completely destroy it. And I think we were in agreement there that yeah, we like a sort of sophisticated takedown. We like a good takedown. We don't like pwnage for pwnage's sake, just for the sake of cheap entertainment, which is perhaps a little bit the area we've gone into here. Now, Jaclyn, in your follow-up video, what you've said is perhaps a bit disturbing. You made a somewhat insensitive comment about the suicidal, which has bothered me a little bit here. And I think you said something about Christianity being, religion being insane, and I think you were teetering very close to throwing your lot in with this whole god-awful meme about religion being a mental illness. Jaclyn, but this meme, I don't know if that's what you are trying to say, but that meme really does not need the support of a bigger YouTuber such as yourself. It really doesn't. It's such a ridiculous meme. If it gets too much support, it's going to be very, very difficult to quell. Every bit as difficult as creationism is to shoot down, because it has too much support already. The amount of idiots who actually believe it, all of whom are atheist, is worryingly high. But the other point was, I mean, you seem to be dismissing the fact that this guy was quite brave, in that he's got about 49 subscribers, and here's you with, I think it's 40,000 subscribers, and you seem to be dismissing the bravery of going up, that he's gone up against you there. And really what he's tried to do is engage you in discussion. He's not tried to start a war with you, and yet he does take bravery to do that. I've done this. I've gone up against people like Takedowns before, or The Amazing Atheist I did recently, and I mean, and I'm pretty soon I'm going to be making a video critical of Thunderfoot, and I'm not looking forward to doing that because I can already see the thundertard comments I'm going to get from his drone fans for daring to question him about anything. And I got, the Pat Cornell fans. I mean, those guys are a whole new breed of dogmatic. These guys will not listen to reason. These guys are about as hard right as they come. I was actually quite surprised with the response I got to my criticism of TJ, of the not productive, because I was expecting a load of Amazing Atheist fanboys to come and to expand my channel, but they actually haven't. Most of the comments I got there have been quite positive. But that's the point. It's difficult to do, but if you think a big YouTuber is wrong about something, well, you've kind of got to speak out. You've got to at least. And I think this guy's tried to engage you in discussion here, and I think one of the points Dorian made in his video was that there's this difference between education and entertainment, and I think what you're trying to do with your channel is be both educational and entertaining at the same time, and I sort of get that because I'm an educator. Sometimes I'm trying to make learning fun if I can. I try and make it entertaining, I try and make it enjoyable, but there is a point you reach where if you actually want to get information across, sometimes you do just have to say to the student, just knuckle down and learn. There's only so much you can make it fun before we get to the bit where you've still just got to basically knuckle down and try and actually learn. And if the entertainment is a vehicle for education, it can't, I suppose, but this can't surpass it. You can't just start compromising the quality of the education just to get a few more laughs, and that seems to be a little bit where we've been going with this. I mean, put it this way, Jaclyn, you and I are both vegetarian. I'm sure you've encountered some of the same prejudices as I have. I mean, a lot of people I would love to think all vegetarians are like Onision. I'd love to think that we're all we've all got our head up our own arse. We all just condescend to people who eat meat. We all look down on them like they're bad people or something. And of course that's not really the case, I don't think, with you or I. I think I always try and maintain, you know, a certain politeness and understanding that why not everyone agrees. And I think I'm using that analogy because I think it's one that works quite well. You know, I mean, I think the moderately religious can be a bit like that. We think, oh well, you know, Christians are the majority. They're the majority in America. They're 80%. True, but there are a lot of different denominations. And if you're a very moderate denomination, if you're perhaps a bit more Unitarian or something, you actually will be getting grief from both sides. You'll be getting grief from atheists who just keep accusing you of being deluded because you believe in the magical sky daddy or whatever. But you're also going to get criticism from fundamentalists who, you know, don't think you're a true Christian. They think you're weak. They think you're sort of a watered down. You're following a kind of watered down version of the ideology. And so in that sense, these people are actually sort of a minority themselves, and they're getting crap from both sides. Atheists who refuse to accept that there are different shades of grey to being Christian, and then from Christians, fundamentalists who have this attitude that you either do things their way or you're just not a true Christian. Anyway, those are the points I wanted to make there. But yeah, I think, in short, I think it's a bit of a shame if someone's trying to engage you in discussion, if you're not going to sort of welcome that with a bit of discussion back. If you're just going to take the piss out of them, basically it's not very nice, is it? Let's be honest. I mean, but this is the reason as well, I should add, I don't like JP Holding, because his entire attitude is just to belittle, mock, bully, and condescend to anyone who disagrees with him, and it's from the word go. It's not like he gets to this stage where he's lost his temper with you and does this. From the word go, you criticise him, you disagree, and he just goes straight for your jugular. He's just unbelievably cruel, unbelievably unreasonable, unbelievably rude, and you just realise that's because he doesn't want to have discussion with you. So he just wants to make you as uncomfortable as possible, make you feel as unwelcome as possible in a discussion with him, so you go away, because that's all he can do. That's the only way he can win a discussion. He can't win a discussion with actual facts and information, because they aren't on his side. So he just has to shout down the opposition, and that's what I don't want. Personally, I don't want to be seen to be doing. I don't want to seem to be shouting down opposition, but it happens too often. But those are my thoughts there. If anyone would like to let me know what they think, yeah, post it in the comments. Cheers, goodbye.